All right, welcome back to another episode of Side Note, the podcast dedicated to underground electronic music, dance music, in the LA area, and all things related. As always, I am your host, Nick, and pleasure this week to bring on Pam Sessions, house DJ, producer, promoter, extraordinaire.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Thanks for coming on. So yeah, I like to kind of jump in with most guests. If you've ever heard the show, with just kind of a describe your weekend. And so for those at home, we're shooting today on a Tuesday.
Yes.
Right. So we're coming off of a weekend just a few days ago, and I think you told me like you had kind of a big one.
Yes, I was out in the desert on Saturday night. It was a 2-day festival type desert renegade party called Jackson Tree, which I've been familiar with honestly like since I got started in this whole like world of electronic music. So it was kind of full circle for me to finally get booked for it. They had like Astronomer and like Bot and like those kind of artists on it. So it was pretty cool. 2 stages, didn't sleep a lot, obviously.
Wow.
So
that sounds like a lot of production for a renegade.
It definitely was.
Okay.
Maybe renegade's not the right word. It was definitely a lot of production. The production was amazing. 2 stages, 1 dome, 1 like outdoor stage. Sound was amazing, like really good. Like honestly, really good sound. So
I feel like I've talked about this with other folks who've come on before, because I keep hearing about so many renegade / like wilderness parties.
Yeah.
I feel like they used to be more rare. Like, I don't know if you heard of Moon Tribe.
Yes. Someone asked me if it was the same party, but it was not.
Yeah. I feel like Moon Tribe was one of the like granddaddies of everything that's going on right now. And they still do it too. I think every full moon. It doesn't matter if it's a weekend or not. But it used to be like only that and maybe a few others.
Yeah.
And now like when I talk to folks, it's like almost constant. Like,
it seems like COVID, a lot of people were definitely throwing some like illegal parties in the desert. And I don't know, it just seemed like it kind of stuck a lot of people after COVID. Seems like that's just the way. But also this one has been around before that. So.
Oh, that makes sense. So I guess, that's what you're saying is a lot of the ones that have come around, they started in COVID as like a way, as a way to plague party. Okay.
Yeah.
Which I am mad at, like, it is what it is.
It happens.
Yeah. So. And now they've continued. Yeah. Cause like there's like Social Desert in the mix and like a host of other ones.
Yeah.
So you played that, like, do you stay for the whole weekend then? Or
no, it was a Friday, Saturday affair. I just went for Saturday, stayed all night. I played like around the afternoon, like 5 or 6 p.m. slot. And then I stayed for nighttime, went to sleep in my car, woke up, and then drove back kind of thing.
The life of the DJ.
Yes.
I feel like I have a lot of sort of envy and respect for like everyone I talk to who comes on this show, like the level of endurance that you guys have to deal with just like untold bullshit. And
my gosh, I feel like there's a lot of people out there that have a lot more endurance than I do. Like people that went the whole weekend, for instance. Like Friday I got home from work and I was like, I don't know how people can do this. Like I just went right to bed when I got home at like 10 p.m.
Yeah, and yet they do. Like so Jay Woo, who he was on, and I think he's like, I'm not going to sleep again for like the next 36 hours.
That doesn't surprise me. All of those guys with like the under team, I feel like none of them like sleep when they're doing their events. Like it's honestly like crazy. Like when we did obviously that warehouse party, which was like my first warehouse party back on March 12th.
Okay.
And I was not expecting to stay the whole time. I was like telling Gio, like I might leave around like 2 or 3 to like go take a nap and then come back for cleanup. But I ended up staying the whole time, like 6 to 6. And
yikes.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if I can do this again. I probably will, but it was a lot. So
yeah, like all the promotion people I feel like are just committed. Like, when Gio was on, he was saying the same thing. It's just like you're there.
No, Gio's a beast, though. He's like definitely gives his all, I feel like, for it. Yeah.
And so, you promote as well. You run Sound Dunes.
Yeah.
I feel like you've brought in quite a few people.
Yeah, more so recently, post-COVID, I feel like that was when I started moving into the talent buying like world of things. Not that I was like unfamiliar with it before, but more so that I like would like obviously financially take the risk and like book them myself.
Yeah. So tell me about that, because I mean I feel like that's a big step to take from being an artist slash DJ to, now you're a business person. So
yeah, I mean, prior to like my job before, because obviously I work at Catch One now and I'm the booker slash talent buyer there. But before that, I was working at a like boutique talent buying firm of sorts.
Okay.
So essentially we were like booking for venues and festivals around the country. Like they would hire us to book their calendars kind of thing. And so we would deal with all the agents and like deal with like, the negotiation and the contracts, whatever. So I was a junior buyer while I was there. And so that's what I mean. Like I kind of learned all the ropes of buying there. And then I was like,
even the terminology you're using, I'm like, I'm not familiar with
oh,
this.
really? Yeah, I was like, what's going to stop me from doing this on my own now that it's not, once you have like a year under your belt, I feel like it's really not like anyone could really do it. You know what I mean? It's so
how does it work? So like Coachella or something comes to you and says, okay, find us talent to fill out.
Well, I mean, Coachella probably would never do that because they're Coachella, but yeah, theoretically there were some festival clients like, the Heineken House, which is at Coachella and Outside Lands. That was one of our clients.
Okay.
We didn't get to book for them, obviously, because I worked there through COVID and that one didn't happen, or like right before COVID as well. So that one didn't happen, but Imagine Festival as well. I didn't really work in any of these clients because I was like the junior buyer, but I worked on like little tiny like nightclubs and you know, in Jacksonville, Florida, for instance, that was one that I worked
nationwide.
on. Literally, yeah, actually, and some in Mexico too, like a festival called Art With Me in Tulum.
Oh yeah, I know that one.
Yeah, that was another client. So yeah.
So they'll reach out to you. They're like, we need lineups, we need people.
Yeah, they're like, well, honestly, a lot of negotiation with agents is also like having pre-existing relationships and rapport. Not that I have a ton, but like once you have a little bit, obviously you can a lot better than just going in blind. You know what I mean? Just being like some nobody that they don't know and they're going to rip you off kind of thing. So, yeah. And
then, so on the one side, you've got a client that needs you to find talent for them. And then on the other, you're dealing with the agents.
Yes.
And,
Yeah. So it's a lot. I mean, middle buyer is kind of the term, but I know, the job probably wouldn't have liked that term. It's kind of like not a great word to use, apparently. I don't know why, but that was kind of what we were. We were like middle buying for them kind of thing. So.
Okay, interesting. And then how long does that negotiation take? Is it like a huge kind of transaction, or is it just like, It
depends. It depends, on the size of the artist. It depends on a lot of factors. I don't know. Sometimes deals, you could send a mutually agreeable offer, as in it'll be a mutually agreeable date. So you can send an offer for like not an actual date. It can just be like for any date that works out in the near future kind of thing.
Okay.
So for something like that, those could, not get confirmed until like 6 months later after you send the offer.
Okay.
It could be something they sit on and wait until they get the tour routed, and then they come back to you like 6 months later and they're like, hey, I'm finally ready to move on this offer. And you're like, oh, I forgot about that offer, but let's do it kind of thing, Okay. So it really depends. Really depends.
Got it. So you built your relationships at this job, and you're like, okay, I can do it on my own.
Yeah. So just started doing it, honestly.
First party, I think I saw at least on the Sound Dunes gram, like in 2019 at some point, right?
Yeah, 2019 was the very first one in August. At the time, I was working at CAA, which is like I
know CAA. Yep.
Big talent agency. I was an assistant.
Okay. Did you start in the mailroom? You did that whole thing?
No,
okay.
I did not. I skipped the mailroom, thank God. Okay. But I hated it nonetheless. It was not my cup of tea.
Okay, we'll backtrack to that.
Yes, I know. There's a lot. There's a lot. But so 2019, August, Dirty Laundry, which is this essentially just a bar in Hollywood. They have a back room, and they just kind of let it be open for people if they wanted to do events. So I originally started with this guy named Marcos, the very first one. But then after the first one, I just branched off and just kind of ran with it kind of thing. Okay. He moved back to Miami, you know what I mean? I don't know. It was just like, he wasn't, you know what I mean? So just kind of worked out, and I just kind of started running it monthly. Then it was twice a month. And then it was like upgraded to the bigger room, and you know what I mean? It just kind of naturally flowed that way. And then even did the New Year's Eve with them, which was like packed out, like completely sold out in 2019. And it was awesome. I feel like the trajectory was like super quick.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So, and then COVID hit, obviously. So.
And then, I feel like, so you probably, you went into hiatus for a little bit. And I feel like I went to one of your parties. I went to the Huxley party.
Oh, nice. That was a great one, obviously.
Okay.
That was like the opening weekend of LA.
Yeah, you opened, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I played right before Huxley. I was originally going to book someone for it, but then I was like, you know what? I haven't played a show in like over a year. I'm going to play this party.
Yeah, do it. Do it. And then I feel like, you've done a lot since then. Like I saw like Joeski.
Yeah, Joeski. We had Dylan Nathaniel, Matt Joe. Who else? I don't know, a lot, it seems like.
So focus on the housey tip.
Yeah.
Okay.
Housey, tech housey. I know it's like a bad word, but like, that's got, I like it.
Dare you.
Yeah, I know.
How dare you?
What can I say?
And I guess, where did that aesthetic come from? That's just what you vibe with since your intro to rave, I guess?
Yeah, I don't know. House music, I like house music. I've always liked the more European, like, housey side of things, even like the South American, like, housey sounds. I don't know. I just really like what they're doing everywhere else, kind of thing, and kind of wanted to bring that sound over. Like Huxley, obviously, is from the UK. Joeski has that kind of like Tulum vibe going on, Crosstown Rebels. So I don't know. I like all those kind of genres, but I'm pretty open, honestly. Like from a personal standpoint, I'm prone like genres that I actually like. I like a lot of genres, but for Sound Dunes specifically, I was trying to keep it in that lane.
Got it. And so from the beginning, it sounds like you were taking financial risk. So how did you make that decision? And
well, when I first started those parties in Dirty Laundry, like they weren't too much of a financial risk, because I wasn't being like charged any rent or anything like that. It was just an extra room that they had. So I could pretty much do whatever I want, but I also couldn't be charging tickets, obviously. So I couldn't make any money, but the only money that I would lose was maybe like a couple hundred if I spent it on like an artist or my decor or something. So at the time it seemed like, big picture was, grow this a little bit and then, make money on it later, which is kind of what it turned into. So I think that was always the goal, and that's how it kind of developed.
Okay.
So.
But now though, like you're booking like pretty big DJs and pretty big venues. I mean, I feel like the sort of the burden of that must get pretty scary, right?
It is, yeah. That is something that I've been thinking about. Obviously, I mean, I'm pretty much the only person that does Sound Dunes. Like I started it pretty much alone, run it alone, do all my own artwork, advance it all myself, do all the booking myself. And it is a lot, especially with my like day job, of course, and then also, now Pam Sessions DJ career is like kind of doing something as well. So it's a lot to balance, and it's a lot to like kind of figure out where to put my priorities. But, I'm still trying to keep Sound Dunes alive and just bring cool artists that I can bring, because it's obviously like also just so difficult to book in LA with like radius clauses and all the competition. It's a really tough market. So, just trying to do something a little bit different.
Yeah. Like, so what are some of the other challenges that, your average consumer wouldn't even think of? I mean, you mentioned a radius clause, which I've never heard of before.
That is probably the biggest one.
Okay.
A radius clause is essentially like a festival can tell an artist if they book them for a particular festival that they can't play in a particular market for a particular amount of days on either end of the show date. So
got it.
Like Coachella, for instance, is pretty, and EDC, like all those like the biggest festivals are like notorious for having like radius clauses that are like include like states, not even just like a certain mileage. It's like that you can't play in California, Nevada, Arizona, blah, 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 for 500 days or it's whatever. You know
Except
what I mean?
It's for Framework or something, right?
Well, yeah, Framework is
they run that
in, so yeah, but so exactly that's why they get you, because if you're booked at Coachella, you'll obviously go play with Framework. So it's like tied in like that. Yeah. So, but Sound Dunes, I don't really have anything to offer. I can't offer a Coachella play, so you know what I mean? It's like that's a huge obstacle in itself, and I'm sure a lot of promoters in LA, especially LA, deal with that because most of the venues are owned by Live Nation, Insomniac, everything's like
it's corporate.
Controlled,
it's corporate. So. So I guess like for your average event, are you able to kind of fully recoup and even make a profit, or because I've talked to folks where it's like it's like tenuous whether or not I would agree with that. It's very like sometimes like the Huxley show was great. That was a great one, but that's obviously not every single night. That was the opening night of LA, the opening weekend, like post-COVID. But yeah, I've had successful nights since then.
also have had not successful nights. So, you know, it's a balance, and it does, right now it's still okay. Like I'm still like, you know, it's still worth continuing, I think, you know what I mean? And I definitely still want to continue. If I was losing thousands of dollars, then obviously I would reconsider everything because I don't think it would be worth it. But right now it seems to be worth it. So
I guess, you do it for the nod, right? Have you seen Groove? It's like an old rave movie.
I don't think so, actually. Honestly, I don't watch a lot of movies.
Okay.
Don't roast me.
No, all good.
I'm like really bad at movies.
But I feel like as a like rave person, there are like a handful of movies that like, you know, you should definitely watch. Like Human Traffic is one. But anyway.
Actually, I have seen that one.
Okay.
That's one I have seen. I don't know why.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. And Groove, I mean, it's not a great movie, but there is kind of a scene in it, and I've mentioned on the show before, where like the promoter at the end, he's like, the reason why I do it is for the nod. Because every party, someone comes up to me and is like, I really needed this. This was meaningful.
It's true. I mean, that is kind of why I got into it. I've always liked nightlife. Like I just like people coming together, you know what I mean? So I'm definitely not doing this for the money. So,
right. Yeah. I mean, nobody in the scene really is until you get to like Pasquale level.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. But that's, very, very rare.
But everyone I've met, I mean, who's doing the good work. You know, they're doing it for the love house. So I guess, you know, another common question I have with my guests is, you know, to take it back, you know, where was your introduction to rave, and, you know, how did the progression happen?
I was actually thinking about this question on the way here because I figured you were going to ask it. So I feel like it's like a 2-part thing. Okay. Part 1 is probably just like when I was in high school, like kind of discovering, I was like dubstep, like Skrillex and, you know.
And for the folks, so you're from Canada originally.
Well, I was born in Canada, but I did go to high school in San Diego.
Oh,
so
you did?
I grew up like half and half between like Calgary and San Diego.
Because I was going to say, I feel like Canada in general is a little more electronic forward.
Yeah. They love bass music up there too. It's definitely like a bass scene. But I don't know, that was kind of like my first introduction to electronic music. Didn't go to any shows though when I was in high school. Okay. Didn't really have any friends that liked it, so just listened to it by myself kind of thing. But then after high school, I went on like a gap year and did some traveling, and that's where I went to like South America and stuff like that, and kind of just saw like nightlife and like nightlife culture, and kind of like really, I don't know, it really resonated with me, really enjoyed it, really thought it was interesting, and I don't know, was intrigued by it, I guess.
So on your travels, in what country in South America?
I was in Peru, like Bolivia, Chile, Argentina, like all over.
Yeah, they're all about the electronic
Yeah,
music.
they love electronic music down there, and they party like all night long, and I don't know, it's just a lot different vibe than here, and I really like it. And I guess, I love it down there. So
you were captivated by the South American like electronic vibes.
Yeah, for sure. So that was like my introduction to like electronic, like house music, I guess, was down there. And then I met a ton of English people while I was traveling. Of course, they're everywhere, and went to go visit them the summer before I started college. And you know, we were in the car listening to BBC Radio 1, like Duke Dumont playing, like the first time I ever heard, like when Tropical House, it was 2013, like Tropical House was kind of having a moment, you know, like Piano House.
Like some Kygo and like.
Kygo, but like Second City and stuff like that, you know, like more like Piano House. That was like, I really liked that stuff, so. Yeah,
were you like doing like the Essential Mix too?
Yeah, definitely. Loved all that stuff.
So then, so you're like sort of getting more immersed in it.
That was my introduction for
And then where does it sort of turn to like, I need to be a DJ? Then
I start college and I join UCLA Radio, like the radio station. I'm a DJ for the radio station now.
So back when I went, I mean, that radio station, I mean, not a lot of people listen to it, but I remember.
Still don't.
But the studio was like packed like with gear, right? So there's actually like turntables and a mixer in there, so you can actually
definitely
do some damage.
There was gear. I mean, obviously it opened me up to a whole new like community of people that were like loved music that I'd never really had before, and introduced me to a bunch of new music, and you know what I mean, like we could exchange music and blah 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 blah, and it was awesome. And then from there I also joined the like campus events commission, which in the concerts division, so we actually were planning the concerts, and I don't even know why I applied to the concerts. it was just like, you know, I just did and I got it kind of thing. And it was definitely the best thing to ever happen because it was
right. Because they do like big bookings, right?
No, yeah, we booked huge artists. Like the year that I was there, like my first year, they booked Chance the Rapper for like the opening concert.
Wow. Okay.
So that was kind of like the vibe, and yeah, that obviously opened me up to
I'm seeing the trajectory now.
Yeah,
too,
that was
like
the trajectory.
From there to working at the
middle buyer company. You see this? Not a middle buyer company. Yeah.
And also, apologies if you can hear the dog whining. He's upset. I don't know why.
He wants a hug.
Yeah, or he wants to hang out here. Okay, so you were doing that for UCLA. Like from what year? Like was like right
Freshman
off the bat
to senior,
okay,
for both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like immediately.
That's like 4 years
I
of
know.
like legit experience.
Yeah, I know. So just threw myself. When I got to college, I was like, I'm gonna do everything. You know what I mean? Tried everything. So definitely did. Went to my first rave. Escape was like the first rave that I went to in Halloween. So it was like my first like quarter of
Shout
UCLA.
out to Pasquale.
Yeah, shout out Insomniac. Yeah, I mean, look, they throw a great party. Can't deny it.
It's true.
Yeah.
So yeah, you did like the massives. You basically had like the LA like rave kid trajectory.
Absolutely.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Definitely.
Okay, and then so I think probably this is like a good segue because I wanted to revisit CAA, which it sounds like you went into after undergrad at some point.
Yes, I graduated and then I had a licensing job, which was for like a couple months, and then I got a job at APA, which was
also
another agency.
Yeah,
but
lit, right? More lit. Do they do music?
They do music, but their music department is very small.
Okay.
So, but the thing was, I had booked 2 artists with APA, this agent named Ferry, who became my boss later on.
Okay.
I booked Matoma, and then Tropical House, there you go.
Okay.
And then 2 Friends my senior year. And then my senior year, after the 2 Friends show, he like texted me and he's like, what are you doing after college? And I was like, I have no idea. And he's like, well, let's stay in touch. And I said, okay, we'll stay in touch. Then hadn't heard from him in like months. And then one day he just texted me and he's like, my assistant's getting promoted. Do you want to be an assistant? And I was like, okay, let's do it. Like, I don't know, didn't really know what else to do.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
So I went and did that. It was really hard. But then he got moved, like he got a job offer at CAA and he took me with him. So that's why I was like at APA. Altogether, my agency career was like maybe a year. Felt like way longer than that. It was like 2019, like did 4 months at APA, I think, and then like 6 or however many.
I mean, like those jobs are one, notoriously difficult to get, and also, as you said, like fucking hard. Like from what I hear, like I know tons of people have done. They're like, it's like borderline abusive.
It is. It's definitely. I like to call it like music industry like boot camp.
Okay.
It was like boot camp, you know. But obviously,
I guess music is different though too versus.
It was it was hard.
Agents.
Definitely, it was hard.
Yeah.
But like my boss Ferry was definitely a hard boss, but he's also like gave me such an amazing like opportunity and has always been there for me with like advice and everything since I've left the agency like world as well. So I've got nothing but like good things. Like I'm glad I did it, would never go back, but I'm really glad that I did it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and I'm sure through it you made a ton of connections that sort of helped.
Not as many as I probably should have because I was like I don't know. I was like really going through it when I was working there. Like it was hard. Like I was kind of like in a weird headspace. So I don't know if I was like fully. I didn't throw myself into it probably as much as other people did, to be honest. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, like combined with your other accumulated experience.
Yeah.
I mean, now I'm like, oh, dude, I feel like this is like future music executive. Like,
I don't know about that. Maybe Destructo. That's what Destructo vibes, you know?
Is he a?
He was like the head of Livestyle. When I was working at CAA and
that's the like Robert Sillerman company, right? That owns like Beatport, I think.
I don't know. Is that true? It might be.
So,
I actually have no idea. I don't know. At some point,
owned Beatport. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, he did. Obviously, he did like Hard. Like Hard was his like brand, and then I think Livestyle bought one of them, and Insomniac bought like Hard Summer. It was like someone bought something, and then he was running AMF. Remember that festival?
Yes.
That was his too.
I didn't know that was his. Okay.
Yeah, that was his too.
That's like how I'm gonna date myself, but like Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit was like president of Interscope or something.
Is that
at
true?
one point? Yeah.
Oh shit, yeah.
I think they made him pres like after he was like in Limp Bizkit.
I think
or something
else. Oh shit. It's I think Pete Tong is like the head of like electronic at WME or something as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know.
Okay.
Look it up.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong, but there's something he's tapped into
Okay.
on the back end. So
That's like there's like a big agent at WME who runs electronic, and he has the same name as Deadmau5.
Oh yeah.
Joel Zimmerman.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I was like tripped out by that as well.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
I remember seeing that. That was so weird.
And I remember being like, is Deadmau5 the head of electronic at
That'd be so
WME?
damn crazy.
I don't think he is. Oh, here's the dog. He's making an appearance.
Aw. Does he normally make an appearance?
Sometimes. You had your dinner. I feel like when it used to happen, I'd be like, oh, you're ruining the shot, Jasper. But now it's just like, we're going to roll with it.
People love dogs.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Okay, so we've kind of unpacked kind of the business side and kind of you running into promotions. Tell me about like Pam Sessions DJ Producer.
Okay. Well, I mean, this kind of goes back to college as well, I guess, theoretically, with the UCLA radio. That was the DJing of UCLA radio was very much just a Spotify playlist and pressing play.
Okay,
It was no DJ skill at all. So
Like, were you fucking around with the turntables and doing the vinyl thing?
not really.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what it was. Maybe I was just like shy. I don't know. I was like shy to do it, I guess. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or like shy to do it for people, I guess.
Had
more so.
they done anything to add like a video component, or was it still just broadcast
No.
only? Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty minimal.
But you would still be like, hey, this is Pam Sessions. Okay.
Yeah, I had a show with my friend Jeffrey.
Okay.
It was called the Avocado Club, and we did it for like 3 or 4 quarters kind of thing, and it was super fun. But we played everything. There was not even electronic focused. We played like
Got
all
it.
genres. But going back to DJing, I had like virtual DJ on my
Okay.
computer. Didn't have a controller, but I used to like make mixes on there without a controller, just like moving my mouse.
Yeah.
And I would post them on SoundCloud. I think there's still one on there, actually. I just can't bring myself to delete it. It's just so funny. It's terrible, but it's so
But
funny.
it's like fading in and out with like the mouse.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, like
Okay.
fade in and out and press play and like, yeah, it's so like basic level, but it's like, I don't know, it's so cute. I'm like, I can't delete it.
Yeah.
But that was kind of like the intro. I don't know. I was always, again, like intrigued by it. Just felt like nervous about doing it. I don't know. Didn't know how to start, didn't know where to start. I guess it was more so like something like that, you know what I mean? So I didn't actually DJ like for a crowd until my senior year. So I'd obviously been interested since my freshman year, but it took like 4 years to actually, I got a controller the summer before senior year, just like a little DDJ SB2, and was messing around with it. Finally, I don't know, felt confident, not really even honestly, but felt like I could DJ for parties and DJ'd for like my friend's house party,
Right.
stuff like that. Even though I was so nervous, I remember being so nervous the first time, just feeling like I was gonna throw up from like how nervous I was. But for some reason I still wanted to do it, so.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you're not nervous, there's something wrong, they say, right?
Yeah,
I mean, obviously it gets better with time.
No,
but
it does.
Yeah.
I mean, I was very nervous, like crazy. Like I drank, like I remember took like 2 shots. My adrenaline was just pumping so fast. It was like, whoop. I was completely sober again. But yeah. And then I even played at like the little bar around campus, which now is called Rocco's. Used to be called something else.
There's a bar like on campus now.
I've heard that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That wasn't there when I was there either.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Or was it? Maybe it was right at the end. I don't know.
Like one time I visited, like in the last 5 years, there was like a Wolfgang Puck
Oh yeah.
that served alcohol.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I never. Yeah.
I do remember seeing that and being like, what?
Yeah, I love the
Okay.
Wolfgang Puck. That was a vibe. Also the Rubios.
Oh
I
yeah.
would go there all the time.
Shout out to UCLA.
Shout out to the food court at UCLA.
Yeah. Okay, so you kind of start, I guess, racking up experience points with like the house parties and stuff. Okay.
And then just like bedroom DJ, really, all it is. And then I mean, I want like, how do you get started? You know what I mean? Like that's like, I don't understand how people get started in this city because it is a lot about like who you know, to put you on.
Right.
I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anything about the scene at all. So I was like, I'll just throw my own parties. And I know that's like very similar to like a lot of promoter DJs, it seems like, have started this in a similar fashion.
Yeah.
I think at the time I didn't like want to admit that was why I was starting the parties, because I was like still maybe coming to terms with that in my own brain that I like wanted to be a DJ. Because I was like, I did, but I like didn't tell anyone. I didn't admit it, kind of thing. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it was like,
So just kind of like, I'm just gonna do this thing. And, okay.
And DJ a little bit, and I did, and obviously got a lot of great experience, made a lot of great connections, kind of thing, which have opened me up to obviously everything that's been happening now. So definitely was great. So
when you first started, you were playing at your party? Okay.
Yeah, I would play most. I didn't play all of them. I would play like maybe at least half, because there was a lot. At least half. But yeah, definitely came a long way again with just like the nerves and
Yeah, so I guess, how does that work when, you're playing, you're running the party at the same time, you're dealing with the talent because you booked them. Like it seems like a lot to handle. It
definitely is a lot. I think, well, back in the Dirty Laundry days, like the Madame Sam days, like the talent wasn't like, it was my friends almost. So it wasn't as like high risk, I guess, so it wasn't a big deal. I could DJ and also like they would be just fine if they know how to get to the venue. It wouldn't be a big deal. Now that I'm booking with touring DJs, normally what I do is I just hire someone to be the artist liaison night of show. And obviously it helps that I work at Catch One. So they're obviously an extra like layer of support for all the events as well. So that definitely really helps. But I've tried to like be the artist liaison and DJ. It's a disaster. It's like I get so stressed and like I get so distracted and it just doesn't work. So hiring an artist liaison has like literally saved my life.
Oh, okay. So you hired someone. Okay.
Yeah, I always do now. Like since I've started the touring DJs, I always hire one now.
Yeah, like what are the qualifications for that? Just
honestly, I have this little like tiny group chat of like 6 or 7 people that have kind of just like helped out here and there kind of thing. And like they'll either work the door for me or they'll do this or whatever, artist liaison. There's not a lot of qualifications, just be nice and helpful. It's not really that hard.
Yeah, and like do they have to pick up the artist at the airport?
Sometimes. I try to avoid that.
Okay.
But I try to tell them to just get there on their own, but
got it.
It's not always the case.
And then so you also book for Catch One. So does that sort of open the door for you to, it's like, so now you have a built-in venue for every party that you do? Okay.
Absolutely. And I'm the only booker. I know in the past they've had more than one. So I get like full control of the calendar, which is great. So if I want a date, I'm just like, boop, taking it. So
yeah, and like, what does your day look like? You're just looking at a calendar, like, you know what? I'm gonna book this rapper for this. Like,
I mean, a lot of staring at a calendar. That is pretty much my day to day. But I work with promoters. So like promoters come into the room kind of thing, and I control the calendar. Like obviously, like I pick who goes where, and Catch One has 4 different rooms, so it's like 4 rooms. A night for definitely Friday, Saturday, sometimes Thursdays. And
so, for example, I feel like a lot of my audience would know. So, Reform was at Catch One this
that was
past
Saturday,
weekend.
Yeah.
So that's like 6 a.m. Synthetic Minds, like the whole that whole fam.
Yeah, for sure.
So how does it work? They're interfacing with you in terms of
Yeah, me and my boss Mitch, who's the owner of the venue. So yeah, we just like. They've done this event in the past.
I think they do like twice a year or something, right?
I hope so. I hope we do it again. This one went really well, obviously, and it seemed like the production was amazing. Like they brought in a ton and really like took it to the next level. So it looked super dope, and I only heard amazing things. Wish I could have gone.
Yeah, I went to the September one, which was amazing. It had like a very old school, like multiple rooms.
Yes, it's kind of like that European vibe. You know what I mean? Which is like, there's really not another venue in LA that's like that at all, which is super cool.
Los Globos.
That's same owners, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're owned by the same family.
Interesting.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, the first time I went to Catch One, I was like, this is definitely like Los Globos vibes.
Yep. Well, you're completely right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They own a few venues. It's all like family owned, independent, obviously. So it's pretty cool. But, yeah.
But yeah, that's one of the few parties where you, like the whole thing is for the one thing.
Yeah, like Rhonda does that at Well,
Yeah.
they do it at Catch One too, but they do it at
Right.
Globos as well, like monthly. So
Yeah, Catch One can be kind of a mindfuck when there's multiple parties going on at the same time. Where you're like,
Especially if you've never been there before,
Yeah.
and you're like, where the hell do I go in? And
Yeah. And then like, I think for the Huxley party, I waited in the wrong line like 3 different times.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, to be fair, that was the opening weekend.
I know.
That security hadn't worked at the venue probably maybe
Right.
never. So,
yeah, like
you
my
know?
friends and I were like, okay, this is literally like the first party after COVID ever.
Yeah.
Nobody knew how to be like. I feel like in line too, we were like, what are we supposed to do?
I know.
But yeah, it was like madness, but like such fun madness. I remember even like posting a story like, I'm waiting in line at a rave.
I love it.
Yeah,
That's
like,
awesome.
Amazing. Okay, so since then, I feel like since COVID, like you've done a lot. Like, so for your DJing, do you mainly play at Sound Dunes? Because I feel like you get booked for all kinds of other shit as well.
Now, definitely. Back again, even at the beginning of COVID, definitely was just me booking myself. And or beginning of the end of COVID, sorry, like June onwards of last year was mostly me booking myself. But then I started producing a little bit, like released a song at the end of last year. And then that has definitely been a catalyst into getting more bookings, it seems like.
Okay.
So
Interesting, right. So I think is it called Vibration?
Vibration is the latest one.
Okay.
There was another one before that called Corazon. So there's 2 that are on Spotify. The first one was just like self-release. I was like, I just know I need to get something out there, and I don't really like need a label. I'm just gonna get it out there just to get it out there. And then Vibration, which came out last month, was on Pop Gang, which is an actual label. So that was my first label release. So little.
And yeah, now we get to talk about the third facet, right? The production.
I know. Seamless transition.
Yeah. Segue. Okay, so one, how does kind of where does it go from getting the track up on Spotify to opening up new bookings? Like how does that sort of momentum work?
Obviously there's just so many DJs in LA. I think producing gives you an upper hand because it makes you seem a little bit more, I don't know what the word is. Not to say like a DJ who doesn't produce isn't as valuable as a DJ who does, but
it's like, oh, she's the full package. She's the
maybe
DJ
I don't really
producer.
know. It's just it's kind of the same thing when I'm booking people. Like unless you're a DJ that like everybody knows and like you're kind of well known for being like a really amazing DJ, which there are DJs like that. It's definitely a plus to be a producer too.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe it's just because you have a bigger network. Maybe it's because your trajectory might be bigger in the future or something. I don't know. But
are people discovering your track and then being like, oh, that's how we found you type of situation?
I don't know.
Okay.
I honestly don't know.
So you just kind of put it out there and then
insight.
like the momentum.
I don't know.
Okay.
You know, like I think it's a little bit of that, but I think it's maybe people are seeing that I'm taking it a little more seriously. Okay. And they're hopefully believing in me kind of thing and like want to like put me on kind of thing. So I think that's kind of what it is. That's what I hope it is, I guess. So I don't know.
And then I guess like to get like technical, like what are you using? Like what's your methodology?
Ableton.
Okay.
Yeah, my good friend Hector actually during like March of 2020, like right when COVID hit, gave me his like Ableton login, and I've been using that ever since. So I haven't paid for it. Thank you, Hector. And just YouTube tutorials all during quarantine kind of thing. Like, and again, producing is something I've always wanted to do.
Did you play instruments before? Like, did you know?
Yeah, actually I did. I grew up playing the piano. Haven't played it in like years though. You know what I mean? Like I was like learned it from like a child. And then I was actually, when I did live in Canada, I was in the school band for like 1 year. I played the clarinet. Okay. But that was also very short-lived. So I have a little bit of musical background, but nothing crazy, obviously.
Right.
So, yeah.
But I feel like it's probably like enough. It's like
enough. Yeah.
Learning a language and then, like, having to use it again. For sure. You're like, like
definitely.
You got the theory down a little bit.
I think so.
I feel like the thing that I never realized about producing, like, and I've done it like as a hobby on my own a few times, is like just the sheer amount that you're just like clicking.
Yeah. There's a lot of clicking, a lot of monotony.
Yeah.
But
yeah, like you think like, oh, in the studio. And it's just like
popping bottles, and
popping
smoking
bottles,
blunts.
yeah.
No, that's not me.
And then out comes a track.
Yeah.
But it's more just like.
Yeah. No, yeah. That's like, I feel like the singers and like the rappers get the fun stuff. The producers of like the beat are a lot less glamorous, I think.
Yeah, even like the goats like Dre, I feel like back in the day it was probably just a lot of like
that's true. Probably. I'd be curious to know.
Okay, but so since kind of putting out some songs, you know, you feel like you've gotten a lot more momentum.
Yeah,
in
it feels like
and
it.
stuff. Do you work with any third parties to help?
I do not.
Help you? Okay.
No, I kind of like, right at the moment, I mean, look, I did obviously work at a talent agency, and I obviously have worked on the promoter side as well. I'm very well versed in the world of negotiation. It definitely is awkward when it is negotiating for yourself, but I'm pretty capable at it, I think.
Oh, and you know, like the types of things that get negotiated. So like I feel like that's a definite
so I know
advantage.
what to ask, and I know, you know, I mean, it's still definitely awkward negotiating for yourself, and like asking for like higher fees for yourself is definitely weird. You know, it's a lot easier when it's like someone else. When you're representing someone, I'm sure. But at the moment, you know, I'm kind of just gonna do this as long as I can until things get out of hand, which I don't think. I mean, it seems everything's very capable right now. Like I can handle everything right now. So.
And are those negotiations phone calls, emails, like
rarely
text?
Phone calls, mostly, honestly, a lot of Instagram DMs, which is surprising. Always,
I guess that's where things are going now. Yeah.
Always check your Instagram requests if you do, like always. Like I get some crazy things in there. Literally, I get some crazy. I've gotten like, you know, upcoming festival bookings I've gotten through Instagram DMs, like literally like crazy shit. So, love Instagram. That's why I am like very, very involved on Instagram. I treat it like a LinkedIn for like my DJ career. Like literally, like, you know, I try not to, because social media can be like toxic, but I try to like, that's kind of the way I try to balance my relationship with it, is like I just treat it like a LinkedIn, like almost like a resume building for like my DJ
like
career.
Networking.
Yeah, kind of. It pretty much is. So that's kind of like where I, you know, post things and talk to people and just follow people and kind of interact with other people, and even in other markets and stuff too. So. Got
it. So like kind of a slightly different question, but kind of about the, you know, being an artist. Mm-hmm. How do you like go about like determining like what your aesthetic is that just like, this is my vibe? Because I've seen you on stage and it's like very distinct. It's very cool. Like I remember like the first time I saw you open, I didn't know who you were. I was like, oh, she just looks cool.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's great.
So like, you know, like where does is that sort of by design? Like, okay, this is like this is what I'm putting down, or is it just like, you know?
No, I definitely want to look cool. So I'm glad it's working. But I don't know. I think I'm definitely not like a girly girl, obviously. So I don't know, but I look to like a lot of other DJs, like girl DJs specifically, like, you know, Jay Wara, even like Nora and Pure.
Yeah.
You know, they kind of have like simple things that they wear, but I don't know. They exude a really cool energy, and like stage presence for me is something that I've really been working on. Okay. You know what I mean? And like just trying to be engaging with the crowd and not like just head down and like that. Cause that's how I used to be like all the time. But, and I am a naturally shy person, as you probably maybe have picked up on. I don't know, maybe not, but I am a little bit, especially like getting in front of the stage, like makes me nervous. So I don't know. It's just like working on it though, and like exercising that part of my brain. Got it.
Yeah, because like I feel like your vibe is kind of like remixed '90s rave kid.
I love that.
It's like, oh, okay,
well,
like
thank you.
Like she's definitely like a different generation, but she's like calling back. You know, she's like bringing it from the old school. And then like, you know, to your point about kind of the DJ that like stares down. I feel like I'm definitely of that generation too. Like the DJs when I was coming up, like in undergrad and stuff, you know, were like Sasha and Digweed. Shout out, have to mention every episode. And like their whole deal is like Digweed looks like he's doing your fucking taxes like, when he's DJing, right? And I remember like growing up on that and being like, that's the way it should be. You know, this is a man that takes his craft seriously. But it's boring. Like that can't like go on forever.
Yeah, I mean, it's a balance, because I think that there are some like, especially in like the techno like world. You know, a lot of them are like extremely focused and like maybe
yeah.
their head is down, but they still have an energy about them. It's not, I don't like, I guess it's like, don't look meek. You don't want to look like meek behind the DJ controller.
Yeah.
Even you can look like a badass and be like,
just like, you know, that's true. That's true.
It's kind of like, it's just the energy, I guess. It's, you know,
that's true.
There's different energies.
So when you're up there, is that coming? Cause a million things are going on your mind, you know, like, I mean, I don't play a lot, but I've played out before and like, there's a lot going on. So like, do you have time to be like, okay, this is like the vibe I want to be putting out right now when you're like worried about the next mix or the next
honestly
track?
What I try to tell myself is like like take up space. So like I'll be like make my arms big, like you know what I mean, like maybe like shift my feet a little bit, like just like take up space, because again, like going back to the meek thing, like just don't look timid, because I know that I have in the past, and that's something that I'm like building on, you know what I mean? So I just try to like remind myself, like look big, like look like I'm taking up space, like look like you're meant to be here.
I feel like that's a really good pro tip for anyone watching. Right?
Yeah,
like,
literally just like put your hands up once in a while, and like you know,
like you wanna look like you actually feel like comfortable in your own
exactly.
skin when you're
even
up
if
there.
you don't, like force yourself to do it. So.
Yeah, you might be like nauseous or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, because I mean like. I feel like this like new crop coming up, like all of you guys, maybe it's kind of like social media generation or something, but like, you know, a lot of the folks locally I've seen are just like really on point on kind of like putting out a particular vibe.
Yeah. I mean, social media definitely, I feel like places an emphasis on that, you know what I mean? And the fact that anybody could be recording you at any moment is also kind of in the back of your mind when you're DJing. It's like, you know, if someone takes a video of you, you don't want to be like looking super disinterested and I don't know.
Like even the guy, you were B2Bing with the guy at Juliet Sakura.
Gio. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like even his like get up, like I feel like he was wearing like some kind of like just like sweater off of his head or something. Yeah, scarf off his head.
I don't know. Yeah, that's
I was
his
like,
thing.
that's a good look.
No,
good
exactly.
Vibe.
Memorable and I think that's his like little tradition, because like he does that every time and he gets in the zone and like he gets focused, but you know, again, he looks like confident up there too. So everyone has their own little secret sauce, I think.
Dude, I haven't met him yet. So okay, he's Jay Woo's partner under.
Oh yeah, you gotta go meet him.
Okay.
Gotta get him on.
Yeah, gotta get him on.
Yeah, he's from Mexico originally.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's got a really crazy story too, because he throws parties down there too, throws parties in Tulum, all over.
Okay, so yeah, when Jason was telling me about, you know, like they've done some stuff down there. Okay, so he's probably kind of the driver of that.
Perhaps.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys teamed up for the Juliet Sakura party. How does that work? Like, what's like the delegation of responsibility?
Gio definitely took the lead on that, which I'm glad, because I've never, like I said, I never had thrown an official underground like warehouse party.
Because you throw them at like actual venues, okay?
Like legally.
Okay.
And I mean, like I said, again, doing this alone, that it's just a huge deterrent to go into the warehouse space, because it's a lot of fucking work and you're there all day long and you need a team. You can't do it alone. That's another thing. And like, I don't know. I just like don't really have a team. I don't know why. I kind of do, but not like to the fullest extent that Gio does with like his under parties. So when we collabed, I was like, look, you know, let's go 50-50 on it. Down to help, but you know, you're definitely going to need to take the lead, because like you obviously know a lot more. And I was treating it like a learning experience of sorts, and I did learn a ton. So it was great. And you know, it was a great party. Things like everyone had a great time, and the artists loved it. I know you had Freedom B on here as well.
I had a blast. So I had such a blast.
It was super fun. Yeah. And the space was really cool. And I used to, like, when I was in college, I used to go to a lot of warehouse parties. Okay. So I feel like I kind of stopped going, but it was cool to like actually throw one and see how everything worked like behind the scenes.
Yeah. I mean, and your guys' production was amazing. Yeah, I mean, that I was telling Jay-Woo when he was on that, you know, I had gone to a bigger, more well-known party Friday night before, which is amazing party. But the night I went, it happened to just kind of be like a drunk kind of hookup crowd. Oh yeah. Which I'm like, oh, that's not what rave is.
No, yeah, that's never why. Right? I like it's about the music first. Yeah, that's my Instagram bio. Too. Yeah, music first.
And you know that party definitely had that music first vibe, and it was like really refreshing and nice to be a part of for the night. So I guess, what's in store for, today it's early April. Like what do you have in store for the next month?
April, this month, honestly, I'm kind of taking it off. I'm trying to focus a lot on the production, and like I have like so many songs that I'm trying to get finished and need to like really put my head down and just do it. So I'm not doing Coachella at all, and I'm just gonna like take those weekends off to just like crank some songs out and start blasting them to labels, because that's like naturally the next step, you know what I mean, and keeping that momentum, because I think that's super important. And then I am going to Desert Hearts just for fun with my friends. And then I've got a festival booking coming up, which I can't say what it is yet, which I'm really excited about. And then I'm going to Seattle this weekend, and I'm playing a show out there. So that'll be cool. And just trying to like
check it out, Seattle, if I have any Seattle fans out of the like 90 of you who watch.
April 9th at the Crocodile. So that'll be cool. Just trying to continue building, trying to get a gig in San Francisco. You know what I mean? Trying to just start building in other markets. That's really the goal right now. So
yeah, so actually that feeds into a question that I'd meant to ask in terms of the networking, actually like going out and meeting people. Like how much time do you have to devote to that? Or does it happen more organically because you would go out to parties anyway? Or do you have to kind of set an intention to, I'm going to go out and
I definitely am someone who sets the intention, I feel like, because I honestly, I don't feel like I definitely don't party nearly as much as I used to. I'm just so busy all the time that it's pretty rare for me to just be going out purely with the intention of just partying. There's always, I feel like, not an ulterior motive, but I'm going to go because it's at Catch One, or I'm going to go because my friend's DJing, or I'm going to go, or I'm DJing. You know what I mean? There's always like some reason, instead of like, I'm just going to buy tickets and go to this.
Right. But I guess in those instances, you probably have an opportunity to kind of meet.
No, for sure. Exactly.
As well,
it's just natural. I feel like, you know what I mean? And I don't try to force it. If there's someone that I do want to get to know, I normally just start it with like a follow on Instagram, slowly build that, try not to be too thirsty, just like let it come naturally a little bit, and then it usually does. Like, you know, people are generally nice. I noticed really nice, actually, like way nicer than I thought. I thought everyone was going to be like a lot more stuck up, but
that's the plur.
I guess. I don't know. People are quite nice, so I can't complain.
Yeah, but that's interesting, like, because there definitely seems like there is a kind of correct way to navigate these things these days. And it's all like, it's kind of new territory, right? You're talking about like, you got to start with the follow and, like do the thing. But like, cause I'm with you, like I don't go out that often. So it's like, if I do want to kind of like go out and meet folks, I feel like it does have to be sort of, like, okay,
intentional.
This is what we're doing tonight.
No, for sure. Definitely. I mean, and honestly, working at Catch One, I've worked there now since May. So it's almost been a year. Has been a huge like,
because you're where the party's happening.
It's been a huge help for meeting anyone, because anytime anyone even hits me up about doing something at Catch One and I know of their party, it could be like, oh, I already know about your party, and they're like, oh, what? That's so cool. And then boom, naturally, like, we hit it off, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So it's just, I don't know, right place, right time, I guess.
Right.
I don't know.
And I guess, like, in terms of what you're doing, is there anyone else out there who you're like, oh, I really love what they're doing, and I would love to kind of emulate part of it? Or
that is a good question. I mean, honestly, I really like any of the people that can successfully balance some, like, their DJ career producing with another component. So like, kind of like how I was mentioning like Destructo earlier, with like the, being a talent buyer and producer. Like, even like Nora and Pure with like the label, like Purified, and doing the Purified parties, I think is like branded parties are super sick. And like, I would love to be able to, I think label is definitely on my mind, but probably not for like another 5 years. But just people like that are like successfully blending like multiple components of the industry, which a lot of people do. And I think is really cool though.
And then like, are there like LA parties that you particularly enjoy?
I mean, I definitely love like Rhonda, all the Rhonda parties. Yeah, they crush. They're super fun, and the vibe is just amazing. I don't know. I love Sound Nightclub, even though that's like not a party. I just love the production in there, and the
Sound is like impressive.
It's very impressive.
Yeah.
The lineups they get, or like the artists they bring in, and just, you know, I got to DJ at Sound with Space Yacht, which I also love. Space Yacht, like they're amazing as well, and they do a lot for like the local scene in like the kind of some of the genres that I work in as well, like the more like mainstream tech house as well, but they literally do everything as well. But yeah, it was just amazing. It was so cool. It was like, whoa, this is intense. Yeah.
Moving up and down when you're playing.
It was really cool.
I had Ray Cash. Do you know Ray Cash on? Do you know Ray Cash?
I don't, not personally.
Okay. I had him on, like, I think he was a resident at Sound until he moved to like Barcelona a few months ago. But yeah, he loved it there, obviously.
It's such a vibe.
Yeah. Total vibe. Although like Hollywood these days can be like hit or miss.
Yeah, definitely hit or miss. I mean, look, that's where Dirty Laundry and Madam Sam was like a couple blocks from Sound. Okay. So I definitely had my fair share of weird encounters walking around there at like 2:30 in the morning.
I feel like that's just kind of the electronic scene in LA these days in general, right? It's all like in spots that can be a little touch and go.
Isn't that like all of LA? I get this.
That's true.
Like, where is actually a good place that has a good nightlife and is like not like that?
Yeah.
No,
like,
there's nowhere.
Yeah, driving around LA, I feel like it looks more and more like King's Landing from Game of Thrones or something. I'm like, it feels more that.
We're all on our own out there, especially at 2:30 in the morning. Like, get a sword.
Yes.
Fight your way to your car.
Yeah. Might need. I think it's funny you mentioned that because I feel like I read somewhere that was like, it's illegal. It's illegal to carry a knife for self-defense in California, but sword is okay.
Oh, sword is okay. Yeah. Okay, let's get some swords.
So,
give out some little swords.
Yeah,
at the next party.
everyone get your samurai. Cool. Well, we're coming up on an hour. These always go so fast.
Yeah, that was quick.
So I guess before we kind of sign off, if there's anything you want to plug, like your gram, right?
Sure. Well, Instagram, obviously. As I'm a huge fan of Instagram.
It's Pam Sessions, right?
Yeah, it's Pam Sessions, and Sound Dunes at Sound Dunes. Got next Sound Dunes thing is actually next Wednesday, April 13th at Station 1640, doing like a co-pro with Clinic. We have Ms. Worthy.
Oh, sick. Okay.
So that'll be cool. Come through if you want.
Yeah. Man, getting all like businessy too, like the co-pro.
Yeah, co-pros would be great. I mean, that's a whole nother thing we can get into the next time. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Check me out. Spotify.
And we will
Instagram.
have the links to all of your shit on the YouTube description.
Nice.
Make sure to follow her. Make sure to like and subscribe as always. Smash that bell. I feel like such a cheeseball always saying that, but
we gotta do it.
We gotta do it.
You gotta promote yourself because no one else is gonna do it.
Totally. And that's it, y'all. Until next time.
Hell yeah. Thank you.